even in the beginning of the game, that by having Hobbs, who has fantastic footwork, is that it took Hawk off of his entire game.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't know if he'd seen the type of pressure Zach could apply.
Right.
You know, Zach's fast and quick.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, if you got to battle that all game long, it also works on your mental part.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, him being the scorer he is and the type of player, he's their engine. And I call it the head on the chicken. I tell Kenny Dye, you know, the head on the chicken. You know, I just felt like if we could slow him down some and the supporting crew underneath, first play of the game, I think it might have been the second, Kenny Dye picks up a charge. He's that supporting cast we had underneath. Later on, I think it was third quarter, I think it was Demetrius Jones. I think he picked up one on, you know, it was actually on number 4 he picked one up on. But, you know, Zach was going to apply the pressure. I mean, the biggest thing I was really worried about was Zach. I know how aggressive he is. I didn't want him to get in early foul trouble. And as a result of the pressure, Mason was the one who got in early foul trouble. You know, and we took a charge in the he took a charge in, no, I tell you what, I take that back. We drew a foul. Second play, might have been the first play of the second half, we got the ball. And the game plan was whoever three's guarding, isolate them up top, try to get that fourth foul. Well, we ended up guarding Kenny Dye, which really surprised me. You know, I thought he'd be guarding somebody else, not our point guard, with 3 fouls. And when I saw him guarding Kenny, we made our motion. I said, you know, if he's guarding Kenny or Zach, then we can isolate up top. If not, we go to a different call. But when he was guarding Kenny, and we picked up his 4th foul, you know, I mean, that was critical. But, you know, Zach he's just able to apply pressure. I mean, it's, you know, defensive pressure, if you got to battle that for 32 minutes against good, intense pressure on the ball, it's you know, it's pretty hard to do. And that was I thought that was one of the things this year we were able to do for long periods of time was apply on the ball pressure. And, you know, it forces turnovers, it forces bad passes. They had some traveling calls. So, I mean, you get your turnovers in different ways, deflections, steals, you know, different things, quick shots, bad shots. So, but yeah, our defense, man, you know, been phenomenal all year, and that's the reason we won the state championship.
You know, when it comes to your defense, Coach, one thing that I noticed is your defense, the key to your defense, quote me if I'm wrong, is being in the right position at the right time. And I noticed when Zach Hobbs was covering Mason Hawks, it's not that he didn't let Mason pick an avenue to go. It's that he gave Mason Hawks an avenue to go because you planned that way and you planned on somebody else being there to pick up the pressure. I think that really put a lot of frustration into Mason Hawks as throughout the game we noticed that he could dribble and get towards the hoop, but there was always somebody standing there because I believe your defensive strategy was to push him where you wanted him and to force his shots that he just was not a high percentage shot of making. And the more frustrated he got, the more frustrated his players got along with him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We did notice some frustration on his part. I think the fact that he was not always able to get to the rim, we knew he could get to the paint, and we were trying to keep him as far out as we could and keep him out of the paint. But, you know, he's a very skilled player, and we respected that. But, you know, I thought where he did a lot of damage this year was getting all the way to the rim. And that was one of the things that we tried not to enable him to do. And you know, with the supporting cast underneath, you know, position, you just mentioned positioning on defense. And that's one of the areas we work extremely hard at, positioning. You know, we call it the ball you man concept. And, you know, you're either guarding the ball. You're one of 3 things on defense. You're either, you know, on the ball pressure, you're denying, or you're help side. If you're one pass away, you're denying, and you're in the passing lane. We have our hand in the passing lane. If you're 2 or more passes away on you're what we call help side defense. So a lot of times, well, I won't say a lot of times, but basically what we try to teach as far as principle, on ball side, we're denying and we got some help, but on the weak side, we're really in a 1-1 zone in the paint. So, if you do get by us, we should have another defender there before you get to the rim. And we let it be known this week in practice, this past week, that, hey, you have to be aware at all times where Hawk is, even if you're not guarding him, because you got to be in proper position as a support. Right. And but our position, I thought Saturday night, I went back and looked at game film when I got home about 3 or 4 in the morning. I could relax a little bit, much more than I could during game time. But and I watched it again last night, and man, it's just fun to watch. The last 2 times, especially, it was fun to watch Saturday night. But there's a little bit more pressure, intensity, and things like that going on my part, trying to look at everything and make decisions for the players. But I don't know. It's lost my train of thought.
A lot has happened in the past 48 hours, Coach. And even the trip back for you was quite monumental, if you will. You ran into some of the fans and were able to eat with some of the fans, and you told us before the show tonight. And you're able to get pretty much the whole city involved coming back from Raleigh, even though it was well into the night. But just a pretty cool story you told us.
Well, it's been incredible. I mean, it's I had my ringer off on my phone. My phone was in a little bag I carry, and I didn't really look at my phone after the game. I knew I'd get some text, and I really wanted to be more involved with my guys and talk to them and the fans and things like that. I just felt like that it was a special moment. We need to embrace it. But when I checked my phone out when I got home, I had over 100 texts and over 40 voicemails. And I just, it really, I said, wow, this is pretty amazing. And it was texts and voicemails from the coaching profession, guys I've known for years, for 34 years, and some of my college buddies, some of my high school classmates from the early 1970s, not the 60s, but the 70s, and of course former players.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah, please do. And it was a lot of people from just even a lot of monarchs, former students. Some people I didn't even coach, but I mean it was, the thing about it was it's really brought everybody together. I said it this week before practice. We were in watching game film, and this kind of puts it in perspective. I said, we were sitting in the classroom, finished game film, and I was talking to them before we headed out to the practice floor, and I said, guys, this is pretty much what it entails. I said, right now, we're sitting in the classroom, I said, the players and the coaches. I said, and this is what it's about right now. I said, now the second you walk out this door, now it's about our school. I said, now the second you walk out to school, now it's about our community. And I said, now once you drive away from our community, it's about the city of Jacksonville and Onslow County. And I said, this is what it's about. I said, everybody's going to be pulling for you. I said, but, us being the only team left. And I said, now it brings the whole city of Jacksonville and Onslow County into play, because now they're not just pulling for the Stallions or the Cardinals or the Vikings or the Bulldogs or the Wildcats, etc. Now they're going to be pulling for the Monarchs. I said, this is an event that everybody's going to want to come to and be a part of. And I said, they may not be a Monarch, but I'll guarantee you the people from Onslow County and Jacksonville will pull for the Monarchs, because it brings a lot of pride to our city, our county. I know it's brought a lot of pride to our school. The day was buzzing at school. I mean, when my students coming up and hugging me and high-fiving me, I mean, it was just a great air about the day at school when I first walked in the gym, and very humbling. You feel very grateful and fortunate to be able to do what you want to do, and this is my profession, and I take great pride in it. But in the same breath, I take great pride knowing the fact that I grew up in Onslow County in Jacksonville. So for me, it means a lot, you know, and I guess that the fact that no boys team in 66 years had even played for a state championship, I just felt I didn't want any burden on my players' shoulders. I put it on my shoulders. And I said, you know, we're going to bring a championship back to Jacksonville. I mean, I told myself that. I prayed to God that it would happen. And I said, we're going to bring a championship back to Jacksonville. I said, our players are going to be proud. Our community is going to be proud. Our school. I said, Onslow County and Jacksonville. And I said, you know, I just looked at it in a big picture as well as a small picture as far as, you know, it's the first, obviously, state championship in Northside history. And I mean that speaks volumes because we've been wanting something like this over the years. Obviously, I mean every school wants it. Doesn't matter what sport it is, and it's hard to get there, much less win it. It's just very hard to get there. There's so many good teams, especially in the East, in football and basketball, soccer, etc. But you know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And it's like I talked to my kids a lot this week about the mental, the emotional, you know, that, you know, don't get too high, don't get too low. I said it can take you in both areas. I said, you know, just concentrate on what we're doing in practice, and I'll take care of everything else. But, you know, I really felt like that, you know, this was a great opportunity for us to do something great for Jacksonville, not just Northside, not just ourselves. Even, you know, I wanted it most for my players, obviously. I wanted them to experience, you know. I told them I'd get them rings. We're going to get them championship rings. I told them, you know, we walked in the gym each day, stood in the center circle. I looked up at the ceiling. I said, guys, something's missing. I said, something's missing. I said, you know, what's missing? They said, Coach, that championship banner. I said, well, it's not going to be missing much longer. And to see those guys hold that championship banner after the game on Saturday night, as much as, you know, I mean, man, I tell you what, it brought tears to my eyes. I mean, it really did. I was very humbled, but I felt like God had answered our prayer. And that's just the way I felt. I mean, I just looked at my players and they said, wow, we did it. And I think after the game, I tell you what put things in perspective. Some of my players, when I brought them out, some of the starters, Kenny Dye, Gabe Kirkendall, they actually went to the bench and started shedding some tears. And, you know, for a coach to see your players, how much it means to them in that regard, I mean, it puts everything in perspective. I mean, I knew these players wanted it, you know, and we talked about it, you know, about winning a state championship, but for it to all evolve and come through and for them to make it happen, it's an indescribable moment. It's a feeling that, you know, that it's like I told the guys today. I said, guys, this has changed your lives. I said, you're a state champion for the rest of your life. I said, it doesn't matter how many years you're apart from each other. I said, when you all get back together, or the way y'all text now and Facebook and Twitter, I said, this has bonded you for the rest of your life. I said, you know, there's only one team in the state in 2A basketball that can call themselves state champions. And I said, you know, you guys are state champions. And, you know, I'm so grateful for them, but I'm also grateful for the city of Jacksonville, Onslow County, our community, and really everyone. It's just, it's you know, it's indescribable, but it's a great feeling. I just, you know, it's one that I hope just doesn't go away for a while.